Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who is here with us tonight. We're going to dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance and the nation's national anthem. We are getting in here a lot later than we wanted to, but we have a lot of things we need to talk about. I want to thank everybody that's here. I appreciate your attendance here. It means a lot to us. Folks, a lot of stuff has been happening during the past few hours. It started early this morning. Okay? Started early this morning with these two gentlemen right here. Let me tell you a little bit of history. Okay? The man on the left is a man named Kevin McCarthy. He is a congressman, Republican from California. He was the Speaker of the House until this afternoon, about an hour and a half ago. He has now been removed as Speaker of the House by a vote of the House of Representatives on a motion to vacate the chair brought by a member of his own party, Matt Gaetz, who you see on the right-hand side of your screen. The unprecedented action plunges the House of Representatives into what is certain to be a contentious Speaker's battle, as it simultaneously battles the calendar to complete the appropriations process and also to continue to impeach President Joe Biden. The appropriations process is to make sure that the United States government is going to stay funded. As you know, just a couple days ago, the House of Representatives passed a bill to make sure that the government would stay funded. In other words, the government would still be able to go about business. People getting paid, including our military, our veterans, our Social Security people, everybody. The House passed a bill. It went to the Senate. It passed the Senate, which I was not sure whether it would or not. Then it went to Joe Biden's desk. Joe Biden signed it as President of the United States. So the government is funded for another 45 days. But Matt Gaetz, who is also a congressman from his state, he was upset with Representative McCarthy, Speaker McCarthy. He did his investigation, and I will be talking about that now. He did an investigation and found out there was a lot of wrongdoing on behalf of Speaker McCarthy. He brought it up to the House of Representatives this afternoon. Actually, he's been bringing it up for about 4 days now. He and Speaker McCarthy had words on the House floor just about 4 days ago. And it's been ongoing. It's been a contentious battle for 4 days. Matt Gaetz presented a lot of evidence that was not good about Speaker McCarthy. And this afternoon, on a vote of 216 to 210, it was a significant and ironic victory to remove Speaker McCarthy from Speaker of the House of Representatives. It was a victory for Firebrand Representative Matt Gaetz from Florida, who rallied 7 Republicans to join him as he rallied on Democrats to oust Speaker McCarthy. Matt Gaetz rallied all of the Democrats and 7 Republicans to remove Speaker McCarthy. Who's working for whom now? Matt Gaetz was making allegations that Speaker McCarthy was working with Democrats to send money to Ukraine and various other places. Biden was sending it anyway. But Matt Gaetz was telling everybody that Speaker McCarthy was working with the Democrats to send money to Ukraine and do all sorts of other nefarious things. And who worked with whom now? Matt Gaetz worked with all of the Democrats and pulled 7 Republicans together as well to oust Speaker McCarthy from the seat of Speaker of the House. One of Mr. Gaetz' principal complaints against the Speaker was that he had passed legislation with Democratic votes that a majority of Republicans opposed. Mr. McCarthy, who won the gavel in January after 15 ballot rounds. The Speaker of the House has to be voted on by his constituents in the House, by his friends and people that he works with in the House of Representatives. 15 ballot rounds later, Speaker McCarthy wins the speakership, and he's held the gavel for 9 months. What has happened today is historic. It's never ever happened again before. This is the first time a Speaker of the House has been removed through a motion to vacate Speaker from the House of Congress since 2015. Before, in 2015, a motion was brought to oust Speaker Boehner. It didn't pass because Speaker Boehner resigned before it could. So today's vote was historic to remove the Speaker of the House. The last time before that was 1910, 110 years ago, which was unsuccessful. Ahead of this ouster today, a move was made to table the motion to vacate the speakership, and it failed on a vote of 208 to 218. 11 Republicans voted against tabling the motion. Mr. McCarthy talked on NBC today that he would not make any concessions to the Democrats in order to keep the gavel. Apparently, he didn't have to make concessions. Matt Gaetz did. Democrats joined the handful of Republicans to oust Mr. McCarthy as Speaker of the House. The minority leader, the Democrat minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries from New York, said that the House Democrat leadership would vote in favor of the motion to vacate, which they did. What led up to the motion to vacate? One day after Congress averted a government shutdown by passing a 45-day continuing resolution, what they call a CR, we've talked about this before, to extend funding for the country beyond the close of the fiscal year, which was the beginning of October 1st. Mr. Gaetz took to the airwaves to announce his intention to oust Speaker McCarthy. To obtain the speakership, Mr. McCarthy in January agreed to accept a rule change to the speakership, allowing any member to bring forth a motion to vacate the Speaker's chair at any time. Speaker McCarthy made an agreement with the House Conservative Party in January. Mr. Gaetz said in an October 1st interview, and since then he has been brazen in repeated material breach of that agreement, Mr. Gaetz said. While Mr. Gaetz and others have frequently referred to this agreement from January, none have been willing to provide full details of the agreement's contents. Then, referring to an alleged agreement Mr. McCarthy secretly made with the opposition, Mr. Gaetz added, quote, "This agreement he made with Democrats to really blow past a lot of the spending guardrails that we had set up is the last straw." Mr. Gaetz added, this was this morning, he said, "Overnight I learned that Kevin McCarthy had a secret deal with Democrats on Ukraine. Mr. Gates said the one thing that everybody has in common is that nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. He lied to Biden. He lied to the House conservatives, and he had appropriators marching to a different number altogether. Now, why is this so contentious? Because who has really been working with Democrats? Mr. Gates. Mr. Gates. And yet he's still in his position as a congressional representative from Florida. He is the one that worked with Democrats to remove Kevin McCarthy. Now, I'm not saying that Kevin McCarthy hasn't done anything wrong. I believe Kevin McCarthy probably has done a lot wrong, and I know of quite a few situations that say that. But so is every dadgum congressman in there right now. Every last one of them should be kicked in the butt. Every congressman and woman, every senator, man and woman, should be removed from their positions in the houses of Congress. We need to put people in there that we can trust. And honestly, because of what happened today with Mr. McCarthy and Mr. Gates, both of them lied to the people. Gates lied that he was not working with Democrats when he was. McCarthy may have made some deals with Democrats to get legislation to help get legislation passed to help the citizens of this country. I'm not saying he hasn't made mistakes. He has. But one is calling the kettle black here. One pot is calling the kettle black. Which is wrong? Both of them. Absolutely both of them. So right now, we have a congressional unit in the House of Representatives. Nothing is going to get done. Nothing is going to get done for a while. Meantime, time is ticking off on that continuing resolution. Time is ticking away on that resolution. Why am I concerned about that? Because, folks, we could have another government shutdown within the next 45 days. This was not the time to have a fight in Congress. Now is the time to get things done, to make sure that we have a country. To make sure we have a country. Folks, we are in a world of hurt. This country has been around about 250 years. Never in our history have we been in a position where we're at today, with a president that is ill-suited to be in his position. The man is senile. He's suffering from dementia. This man also is not trustworthy. The President of the United States, I thought I would never say that. I thought I would never say that. Marie says define a good guy. I can define a good guy in many ways. But neither of the three people that I have talked about tonight are good people. They really aren't. I'm talking about trusting our fellow Americans to do the best job that they possibly can to help protect us. That's what I'm saying right now. Our president can't even write his own name right now. Half the time I wonder if he really knows who he is. Okay? The other day he was making a political statement. And all of a sudden he stopped short. He didn't even realize what he was saying. He stopped and he didn't realize what he was even talking about. Okay? He's backtracked on our government principles. He's backtracked on our government's principles. Let me play a little piece here for you so you'll truly understand what I'm talking about. This piece came from about 1979 when Joe Biden was a new senator and he was speaking on Meet the Press. Let me play this segment for you. It's only 60 seconds.
The president used his radio address yesterday and tomorrow in the Rose Garden to talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
You know, think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket. We are desperately concerned about the circumstance relating to avian flu. We don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough police officers. And we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage, a flag amendment, and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, not where I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that. Nobody's violated that law. There's been no challenge to that law. Why do we need a constitutional amendment? Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
Okay? What's the game going on here? What has he done now? Just earlier this year, on Easter Sunday, he had a parade of LGBTQ plus people in the Rose Garden at the White House. Some of those people who were there violated laws. There were women that took off their tops at the Rose Garden at the White House. There were men trans that had had injections and other medical procedures done to their bodies, and they took off their clothes at the White House and flaunted their LGBTQ plusness, flaunted it in front of the world, in front of the cameras. This man here that was saying back in the day that he said that he was in support of marriage being between a man and a woman has completely turned around and allowed the LGBTQ plus movement to take over the White House. Now, I'm not saying that I don't approve of anything. Okay? Let them be. As long as they don't hurt you and hurt me or hurt our children. I have come out against what they've been doing. Please do not get me wrong here. Please do not get me wrong here. I don't approve of what these people are doing with our children. It's completely wrong. They're wanting to go over and dance, these trans people wanting to go to our schools and to our libraries during reading hour and read to our children in libraries and schools while they flaunt their sexuality wearing women's clothing. Not just clothing, but lingerie in front of our children. I don't approve. Leave our children alone. If you want to dance around in your own home or in your own yard, do it. As long as you do not affect me or the people that I care about. You do what you do and shut up about it. Don't try to push your transsexuality on me or my children or my grandchildren, because I will revolt. and you will not like what I do to you. Okay? It's gross. It's absolutely not allowed. And yet these politicians, these hell seekers, yeah, that's what they are trying to ruin our communities. They're trying to ruin our spirituality. They're trying to ruin our churches, and they're trying to ruin our nations. Not just here in the United States, but around the world. And frankly, I'm tired of it. And I'm not going to get kicked around anymore. What's happened today in Congress should never have happened. The only reason it has is because we have put leaders there who do not represent us. They lie to us and they cheat us. Somebody in the chat just said, "Where are the children in Hawaii?" I will say that again. Where are the children in Hawaii? Right before I came on this program, I was talking to Rob, who's also here in the chat. Then, right as I was trying to come on the air, I saw another video. Not a very long video, but a short video of Eric West from Maui. Again, talking about what happened. Talking about how he and others helped put money in people's pockets. Helping the survivors there in Lahaina and West Maui survive. Yes, he did a great thing. But someone in his chat also said, "Where are the children?" There's between 2,000 to 3,000 children still not accounted for. I told you what I saw that I have put together information on. It's a foundation record that's open to anybody's perusal. The Maui School District had 3,000 people in the books before the fire. Now they're missing 2,025 students. Again, where are the students? Where are the parents? How many parents and other adults perished in the fire? You can't believe the numbers that the politicians in Maui, and for that matter, Governor Josh Green, have told us. You can't believe them. They're irresponsible, untrustworthy people, including the police chief. They need to be removed from office. It's not just members of Congress, senators and congressmen. It's politicians all over our globe need to go away. They do not represent us. They don't. Richard Smith is talking about a 5.0. Well, he says it's a 4.9 down there in southern Sumatra, Indonesia, an hour ago. I'll be getting to earthquakes in just a few minutes. I thought what we are talking about right now is vital. It's important for our very salvation. It's important for our continued living. We need to get our minds centered on what is most important. Otherwise, we're screwed. Okay? Joanna Ross is wrong. There's underground tunnels and underground base below Maui proper. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm trying to put information together to prove that. I have no substantial proof of that. I know that they exist because people have said that. But I can't go out and say for proof positive that's the case until I have pictures of those tunnels. And I'm not talking about pictures that are grainy, pictures that you can't tell exactly what's going on. I know they exist. I know they exist. And some of the elite actors and actresses that live over there on Maui and other places are as guilty as sin, including that woman named Oprah. I know it for a fact. Hurricane Heather says, I don't think anybody knew about 1,000 missing children in Ohio. No, I didn't even know about that. And guess what? There have been other emergencies as of late in Ohio. Did you guys know about a traffic accident in Ohio just a few days ago involving a vehicle, a large truck carrying ammonia? And a vehicle tried to pass that truck, and it resulted in a major accident where 5 people were killed because they inhaled that ammonia and they were right there close to the accident scene. They died. Yeah, folks, this is serious. All this kind of stuff has been happening around our globe. A lot of things happen over in England. A lot of things have been happening in Sweden, the land of my inheritance. My ancestors' land in Sweden. A lot of stuff is happening there. It's all over the globe. Richard Swiss says, sorry, I just got an earthquake feed. No problem. No problem. I understand that, and I appreciate that. But folks, we have to do something. Each one of us. Each one of us has to stand up and say, I'm not willing to put up with this anymore. And once we have enough people, we're going to be surrounded by like-minded people as well. But we have to take a stand. We have to take a stand. I've been talking about this for a long time. Stand in holy places. Stand up and be counted for who you are and who you represent. Who do we represent? You and I right here, right now. Who do we represent? Number one, ourselves. Who raised us? Who helped give us and teaches or taught us values? Our parents. Who else do we represent? How about Jesus Christ? How about Jesus Christ? I'm telling you, folks, if we don't stand up, we're going to lose everything. This is going to become just like another Nazi Germany, where people will be carted off, thrown into trains and carted off to Siberia and put to death. That's where we're at. They're already doing that. Did you guys also know, and I believe it was either in Nevada or Arizona, I don't remember, I just read about it today, that there was a business that was in the business of selling body parts. They advertise to families to donate bodies to their corporation so they could sell body parts. Heads, torsos, legs, feet, hands, whatever. When authorities raided their business, they found all kinds of gruesome things there. things that should never have happened. This is the same kind of thing that I've been talking about. What are we allowing to have happen in our communities? What are we allowing? Apparently, we're allowing people like that business. We're allowing all kinds of ill will. We're allowing laws to be broken. We're allowing people to break spiritual, physical, and righteous laws. Yeah. We're allowing it. We have to push back. Sleeping Volcano's here. She said it rightly. We must put God back into our lives and into our homes and into our country. I don't really care what country you're in. Well, I do. But every country has people there. And every person in those countries has got to do this, to put God back in charge. To put God back in charge. We strayed away from it. We have allowed ourselves to be pushed around, to lose sight of what is most important. Our children, our families, our grandchildren. That is what we have to do. And I'm tired of it. I am done with it. That's why I'm talking about this today. Our country, the United States of America, the one place in the world that everybody used to respect because we stood for something. It's now being disrespected all over the world. I don't know one country that holds the United States up in esteem. Not one. Not one country holds the United States up in esteem. We used to be like the city on a hill that couldn't be hid. That's not the case anymore. The leaders of our country can't be trusted, and because they can't be trusted, we can't be trusted. Today, the Soviet Union, Russia, held a nuclear test. Their test was a simulated attack on the United States. And of course, the United States would retaliate in kind, with millions of people being killed on both sides. Russia opened up its bunkers for people to hide in, simulating an attack on Russia. What are we doing tomorrow? I've been talking a lot about this. A ton. Folks, we have a problem here. We have a real problem. Aubrey's asking, did you see Putin's comment on that, Ron? Yes, I did. Okay? If Putin was not planning on a drill, I know he was, because he instituted the drill. But that drill was only just that, in preparation for an attack on the United States of America, and Britain, and most of the rest of the world. He can't just take out the U.S. and Britain, because other countries would rise up against him as well. It just can't be unilateral with Putin. It has to be a worldwide conflict. That's what he's done. He started it out. If President Trump had been president, Russia would not have attacked Ukraine. It's a fact. A lot of things would not have happened if President Trump had been president. But I can't put everything on President Trump's back. That's not even right, nor is it true. But I can put it on our backs. I can, and I am. Hurricane Heather says at least Putin is making sure his citizens will be okay. To a certain extent. If Putin were to attack the United States of America, I'm going to say it again, millions of people on both sides, millions of citizens in Russia would be killed instantly, as well as many other citizens here in this country killed instantly. I can't say that all truth, that at least he's getting ready and preparing his citizens. He's preparing his political leaders to survive. That's what he's doing. Okay? That's what he's doing. Now, tomorrow, we are going to have a test of the emergency broadcast system. FEMA and the FCC plan a nationwide emergency alert test for October 4th, tomorrow, at 2:20 p.m. to 2:50 p.m. Test messages will be sent to all televisions, radios, and cellular devices, including tablets and phones. FEMA, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, are going to conduct a nationwide test of the emergency alert system. I said EBS, it is now the EAS, the emergency alert system, and the wireless emergency alert system, the WEA, the EAS and the WEA, at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Now, I've given you all scenarios on what time it will be in your particular time zone. Pacific Time, 11:20 a.m. Pacific Time, 12:20 p.m. Mountain Time, 1:20 p.m. Central Time, 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. The national test will consist of two portions. 1. Testing the wireless emergency alert system and the EAS capabilities. Both tests are scheduled to begin at approximately 2:20 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, Eastern Time. The wireless emergency alert system portion of the test will be directed to consumer cellular telephones and tablets. This will be the third nationwide test, but the second test to all wireless emergency alert capability cellular devices. Okay? It's a second test by FEMA for the wireless emergency alert system devices, the cellular devices, the phones and the tablets. FEMA and the FCC nationwide are going to be conducting this emergency alert test. Test messages will be sent to all televisions, radios, and cell phones and computer systems, mobile cellular devices. FEMA, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commissions, will conduct this nationwide test of the emergency alert system and the wireless emergency alert tomorrow. It will be consisting of two separate portions: testing the wireless alert system and the EAS capabilities. These are the details. The wireless emergency portion of the test will be directed to consumer cellular devices, phones, and tablets. This will be the third nationwide test, but the second to all the WEA-capable cellular devices. The test message will display in either English or in Spanish, depending on the language settings of your wireless devices. The EAS portion of the test, the emergency alert portion of the test, will be sent to radios and televisions and internet systems. This will be the 7th nationwide EAS test. FEMA and the FCC are coordinating with EAS participants, wireless providers, emergency managers, and stakeholders in preparation for this nationwide test to minimize confusion and to maximize the public safety value of the test. I'm reading to you directly from the FCC information. The purpose of the test, before I continue, this information has been changed several times between last week and this week. The purpose of the test is to ensure that the systems continue to be effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. As I have stated before, if we go to these devices here, the AM, FM weather radios, I have 3 of them here. These radios can be taken over by the federal government. And I'm talking about the weather station 162.450, frequency 162.450 where I live. It might be different in your community, but the federal government can seize the weather station that we have to give us federal information from Washington. It can also be seized by states wanting to put out emergency information in your particular state or in your particular locality. They can do this. Now, given that, FEMA and the Federal Communications Commission said this is a means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly about those emergencies on a nationwide level. In case the October 4th test is postponed due to widespread severe weather or other significant events, the backup testing date will be October 11th. The wireless emergency alert portion of the test, the WEA portion of the test, will be initiated using FEMA's Integrated Public Alert and Warning System. It's called IPAWS, 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 Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, a centralized internet-based system administered by FEMA that enables authorities to send an authenticated emergency message to the public through multiple communication networks. The Wireless Emergency Alert Test, the WEA, will be administered via code sent to cellular telephones. A code. This is where I have some issues, and you should as well. You should as well. Carolyn Martin says they can warn us about floods and war, and all kinds of other things. True. Folks, this test, the government has said that this test will take place tomorrow at 2:20 p.m. and it will be over by 2:50 p.m. 30 minutes. As I've said, I am turning everything off by no later than 12 noon Eastern Time. 2 hours and 20 minutes ahead of the test. I'm going to be shutting down my telephones. I'm going to be shutting down my tablet. I'm going to be shutting down my TVs and radios. I'm going to be shutting down my internet-capable computers. Shutting them down and unplugging them. I'm going to keep them unplugged for at least 2 hours after the test is over. I may not bring them up to power until at least 5 p.m. Eastern Time. At least 2 hours after the test is over. Why? Because, guys, the government, through the cellular towers, can continue to ping your device. They can continue to ping your device for upwards of 2 hours time period. They can't continue to ping forever, but they can continue to ping for at least 2 hours after the initial event, which means if you turn your cellular device or your computers or radios or televisions on earlier than that, they will possibly receive the EAS-WEA signal. Okay? Vicky K says, oh man, I'm buffering bad. I'm sorry. From here I don't see us buffering, but that doesn't mean anything. But what I'm telling you guys is truth. I do not want any part of that test. Why? Because they've already said, and I read this to you too, right from their own administrative alert, they're going to put out a code. They're going to put out a code. They're going to administer a high-frequency audible sound. A high-frequency audible sound. Regardless of what they have said about it not activating any neurotoxins or other things in our bodies. Why would they have said that if it wasn't true? Why did they even bring it up? Yes, people are concerned. A lot of people are concerned. And FEMA is talking about it because they know people are concerned. But as I pointed out before, can these agencies be trusted? Nope. Not a damn one of them. Not a frickin' one of these agencies can be trusted. Texas lady just said something brave and correct in her chat. They need to quit looking for intelligent life on Mars and look for intelligent life in Washington, D.C. True. True. Folks, if you're having to be in your cars tomorrow, turn off your car radio at approximately 2 p.m. and don't put it back on for at least 2.5 or 3 hours after this test is done. I'm trying to protect you. Okay? I'm just trying to protect you. Hurricane Heather says, I don't own a 5G device. You don't have to own a 5G device. It could be a 3G. It could be a 4G. You have the device there in front of you. I don't know what kind of phone you have or where you got it from. I don't know what your carrier is. It doesn't matter. Because every cellular device, every cellular network will be participating in this test. It doesn't matter what phone you have, because the FCC and FEMA are going to be broadcasting a high frequency audible tone. It will have some kind of effect on everybody that listens to it, whether you got the Jimmy Jab or not. I don't want it to affect me or my family members. I made it very clear to my family members. And some of my family have notified my children because I don't have a speaking relationship with my own children right now because of my ex-wife. These kind of people can affect our families, and they have. Folks, we are in a very bad situation. It doesn't matter what country you are living in, whether it's Canada, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Austria, Switzerland, England, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, Indonesia, Japan. It does not matter, because we are all in trouble. I'm just giving you information to protect you. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to pass it on. This EAS message will be disseminated as what they call a common alerting protocol. Common alerting protocol, a CAP message, via the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System Open Platform, IPAWS Open. All wireless phones would receive the message only once. They should receive the message only once. However, if your phone is off or down, it will continue pinging your phone until the message goes through. But like I said, it won't ping your phone continuously for hours on end. That's why I'm telling you, I'm not going to turn my electronics back on until at least 5 or maybe even 6 p.m. Eastern Time here. Okay? You can do what you want. I'm just trying to give you some advice. Beginning at 2:20 p.m., I'm sorry. Beginning at approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Cell towers will broadcast a test for approximately 30 minutes. During this time, the Wireless Emergency Alert System, the WEA compatible wireless phones that are switched on within range of an active cell tower and in a geographical area where the wireless provider participates in WEA, these devices should be capable of receiving the test message. For consumers, the message that appears on your phones will read this. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. If you're Hispanic or you speak Spanish, phones with the main menu set to display Spanish will say, Esta es una prueba del Sistema Nacional de Alerta de Emergencia, no se necesita acción. Esta es una prueba del Sistema Nacional de Alerta de Emergencia, no se necesita acción. Similar to when your phone receives an Amber Alert. The wireless emergency alert tone is generally only played when the alert is initially received by the phone, and on some other devices as well, it stops as soon as the user clicks a button. If a phone is off before the test alert is set and not turned back on until after the wireless emergency alert test expires, approximately 30 minutes, the phone should not get the test message. However, your cellular tower will continue to ping your phone, and it is very possible that you could receive the message for up to an hour to 2 hours after the test is over. The wireless emergency alert tests are created and sent by authorized federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial government agencies through the IPAWS system to participating wireless providers which deliver the alerts to compatible handsets in geo-targeted areas. To help ensure that these alerts are accessible to the entire public, including people with disabilities. The alerts are going to be accompanied by a unique tone and vibration. Important information about the EAS test. If the phone is off before the test alert is set and not turned on until after the WEA test expires, approximately 30 minutes, the phone should not get the test message. Again, should not. Okay? Should not. Now, during the past week, several times during the past week, I have gotten out my aluminum foil. I've gotten out my aluminum foil. Before you put your phone into aluminum foil, make sure it's turned off. Number one. Number two, Number 2, make sure your aluminum foil looks like this by wadding it up. Not wadding it up into a tight ball. Wad it up into a relatively decent ball. Why? Because you're going to want to have your aluminum foil look like this. Why? Each of these wrinkles helps deflect electronic signals. What you're doing is you're building a device that will reflect the signals away from your aluminum foil. Much like a plane or a ship is now built to be resistant to radar signals. A stealth mode. That's what you're doing here. You're making your phone in a stealth mode. My sister this past weekend asked me, how many sheets of aluminum foil should I use? Number 1, your sheets should be large enough to completely cover your phone at least 1+ times. To cover your phone at least 1.5 even. And then wrap it up. Wrap up the ends so there is no possibility that a radio signal could get in within that area. That's what you want to do. Okay? Make sure your phone is wrapped up. My sister also asked the question, how many sheets of aluminum foil should I use? I said at least 2. She said, good, I'll use 3. 3 is good. 3 is good. You're taking that extra measure to protect your phone or your tablet, whatever your wireless device. You're doing your best to protect yourself. That's what you need to be doing. I got something in my eye. You need to protect your device. So 2 or 3 sheets of aluminum foil. Make sure it completely wraps around it. Make sure it completely wraps around it like this. Okay? Like this. It wraps around your phone. Completely covers it on every end. The bottom and the top of your phone. When you do that, wrap it again with at least 1 more wrap of aluminum foil. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm creating a Faraday cage for my phone. I'm creating a Faraday cage for my phone. Okay? Now, there are Faraday cages being sold in various places. If you find a Faraday cage, buy it if you can afford it. But be advised, you can make your own Faraday cage. We've talked about this before. Whether it be a great big aluminum trash can that you line with heavy duty cardboard on the inside, the top, the sides around it, and the bottom of it as well. Line it with heavy duty cardboard. Okay? Do not use aluminum duct tape. Do not use metallicized duct tape on the inside of your trash can, because that metal duct tape or that metallicized duct tape will take the signal from the outside and bring it into your Faraday cage. Don't do that. Make sure that there are no holes in the cardboard. That will make sure that any devices that you put in there are protected. And again, even the lid of the trash can. Line it with heavy-duty cardboard all the way around the inside of the lid. And when you put the lid down, you're making sure that that cardboard is depressed onto the rim of the trash can. There are all kinds of videos here on YouTube that teach you how to make your own Faraday cage. There are all kinds of them. Somebody said once you wrap your phone on aluminum foil, stick it in a microwave. I'm going to tell you guys, a microwave is not completely sealed. The only thing a microwave will do is help try to prevent microwave radiation from reaching outside the microwave. That's the only thing that that microwave is good for. Because there's still microwave radiation that still escape the microwave. That might be helping maybe to add a sense of protection for you, but it's really not going to do anything for the safety of your device. It's not going to do much, guaranteed. So there's that. Do you have any questions on the test tomorrow? I will not be on the air, and if I am on the air, it probably will not be until at least 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If something happens tomorrow, I will not be on the air until after 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You won't be able to reach me by phone until at least 6 p.m. Eastern Time. From 12 noon to 6 p.m. I won't be available. All my electronics will be turned off. Okay? I don't own any pagers or anything else. Everything will be turned off and protected. Okay? Aubrey says she'll be incommunicado until 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And that might be a pretty good idea. Juby Joseph's prayer is that this is only a test. I agree. Again, I've already told you that I cannot trust the agencies. All of you know that. You know that I can't trust them, and in many cases you already know that you can't trust them either. So I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm trying to avoid anybody else getting hurt. Yeah. I have seen too many athletes crash down onto the field of competition. The baseball field, the football field, the track, basketball courts, volleyball courts, athletes that got the jibby jab. I've seen them die as a result of those things. For the FCC and the FEMA to come out and say that their test will not activate any nanoparticles in somebody's body, that is only a telltale sign they already know what it's going to do. Okay? I'm just preaching to the choir. Now, before I get into earthquakes, I got a message from the Alaska Volcanic Observatory this morning and this afternoon, right before I came on the air. Remember that volcano Shishaldin that sits over on Unamak Island, which is one of the southernmost islands just south of the Alaska Peninsula? Chicholden volcano erupted again today, early this morning, at about 5:50 a.m. Alaska time, 1350 UTC. I'll call them back when I get off the air. Chicholden volcano that is a stratovolcano that's perfectly or almost perfectly symmetrical, meaning it looks like an upside down funnel, where the top of the funnel is a crater. That volcano erupted up to a level of 25,000 feet today. The initial level about a week or so ago was 40,000 feet high. 40,000 feet high. The number of earthquakes, tremors as well, and infrasound have diminished, but they're still above background levels. The number of earthquakes and the infrasound, the roaring of magma beneath the surface, has diminished, but it's still above background levels. The aviation color code remains red. The volcanic alert level is warning. The ash cloud from Chicholden volcano, 6:12 a.m. this morning. Ash cloud from Chicholden volcano reached upwards of 40,000 feet above sea level and was observed by satellite data at 5:20 a.m. Alaska Daylight Time. This follows a several-hour increase in observed eruptive activity and recent sharp increase in infrasound, seismicity, and lightning detection. In response, again, the aviation color code is still been raised to red. The volcanic alert level is still raised to warning. The National Weather Service issued a SIGMET alert for this ash cloud. SIGMETs are in-flight weather advisories for significant meteorological hazards. A SIGMET is widespread in that it covers an area of at least 3,000 square miles. An IRMETS consists of turbulence, visibility, and icing condition warnings that are less severe than those in SIGMET. A SIGMET includes thunderstorms and volcanic ash, dust storms, as well as other weather, and is more severe overall. Note, the particular hazard that may be present in only a small portion of the area at any particular time could be dangerous. Based on previous eruptive cycles at Chicholden, significant ash emissions are likely to continue for hours. Pyroclastic and mud flows are likely on the immediate flanks of the volcano. Based on previous eruption cycles and updates, significant ash emissions are likely to continue for several hours. Pyroclastic and mud flows are likely to continue down the flanks of the volcano, and this could continue for a long period of time. The volcanic cloud height is still over 40,000 feet, 12 kilometers above sea level. The ash plume from this latest eruption is drifting south. The ash cloud is drifting south. Now, I want to talk to you about earthquakes. We've had a significant number of earthquakes within the last while. Let's talk about earthquakes for a while. Again, I'm bringing up the USGS map, because the USGS map will give us most, not all, but most of the larger significant events today. They don't give us all because they lie about it. They do not want us to have significant information. None of the agencies will ever tell us the truth. Okay, I'm going to this particular earthquake over here in south central Alaska because it's a brand new earthquake. This is a 4.0, a 4.0 moderate earthquake. This is near an Air Force base here. Ellison Air Force Base is over here, guys. It's near an air base. It's north of Anchorage. It's north of Susitna, Alaska. This is a significant earthquake. We haven't had a 4.0 here in a while. This is a very significant event. You can see other earthquakes here. Just south of Anchorage, we have this 3.2 here, a small 3.2 south of Anchorage. They have it 14 miles east of Beluga. You can't trust the USGS for putting earthquake definitive information in here. It's not going to happen. They can't tell us that because they lie about it. They lie about it. Let's go south here. Okay? Now, I want to show you this first. This is near False Pass, Alaska. False Pass, Alaska. This is near a volcano. Several volcanoes. This is a 2.2 earthquake. This is a 1.6 earthquake. 20 miles west-southwest of False Pass, Alaska. The earthquake that I was telling you about yesterday. This is Unimak Island here. This is Shishalden Volcano. Now, it doesn't say we have any earthquakes here because USGS does not want us to know about it. But the Alaska Volcanic Observatory told us about the eruption. Whenever we have a major eruption at a volcano, it starts a 5.0 magnitude earthquake as a direct result of the eruption. So we know for a fact that this volcano has seismic activity all around it. It has lessened throughout today, but there's still seismic activity, and it's above normal levels. I gave you the information. Again, the ash plume for Shishalden Volcano is going south. Last week, that ash plume was headed in a northeasterly direction. False Pass was under a watch for ash and other debris coming from the volcano. But today they're saying that the ash is running south away from the volcano. Okay? That's Alaska today. Over here in the Pacific Northwest, in the Cascadia Subduction Zone region, over here, right between the Gorda Ridge and the Cascadia Subduction Zone. The Cascadia Subduction Zone is that long line here running north and south. That is the Cascadia Subduction Zone. It runs from all the way down here at the Triple Junction where it meets up with the Gorda Escarpment and the San Andreas Fault. Okay? The Cascadia Subduction Zone runs all the way north here to Queen Charlotte Island up here. And it connects with the Juan de Fuca Fault. Down here, right between the Cascadia subduction zone and the Gorda Ridge. The Gorda Ridge is that earthquake fault you see to the left that connects with the Gorda Escarpment out in the Pacific Ocean, and this runs in a north-northeasterly direction up until it reaches the Blanco Fracture Zone. Right between the Gorda Ridge today and the Cascadia subduction zone, we have an earthquake. This is a minor 2.8 earthquake. Now, they're telling us it's a 2.8. It could have been a large earthquake, but it's in here in the southern region of the Cascadia subduction zone. We continue to see earthquakes in this region quite frequently as of late. Quite frequently as of late. Now, we told you about earthquakes up and down the San Andreas Fault, all the way into Southern California. We haven't talked about it today, but we have talked about it yesterday. I'm only going to touch on one other earthquake because this just happened. Again, this is over in Orange County, California. Actually, this may even be Riverside. This is Loma Linda. Loma Linda, California. Home of the Loma Linda Medical Center. The Loma Linda Medical Center. This is south of the Loma Linda Hospital. Loma Linda Hospital is right there. Right there. So this is actually southwest of Loma Linda Medical Center. This is only a 2.6 minor earthquake. Most people are not going to feel a 2.6. But this is still a seismic event today. It's bigger than most earthquakes that we've seen in this area, but it is increasing. Tomorrow, if we come on the air, we're going to talk about Southern California earthquakes, if we make it on the air. Okay? If not, it will probably be Thursday. Just south of Loma Linda, this is Redlands with a 1.1 tremor. This is Moreno Valley with a 1.4 tremor. Southern California is moving, as you can see. A lot of earthquakes. Even down here in the southern area of the Imperial Valley. Look at this swarm of earthquakes over at the Salton Butte volcano. Yes, folks, this is the location of the Salton Butte volcano. Look at these earthquakes. Look at these earthquakes. This is a 2.1. It's a minor 2.1 earthquake. Tremor. Actually, it's not a tremor. 2.1 is a minor earthquake, period. This 1.4 right next to it, that's a tremor. Okay? But this is a Salton Butte volcano right there. That is why we have earthquakes here today. The Salton Butte volcano. It's alive and well. It's alive and well. Even out here into the Salton Sea, this is a 2.0. A 2.0 earthquake. Right next to it is a 1.6. Okay? That's what's happening down here. And it's not the only thing that's going on. I can promise you that. I know for a fact that Calipatria, where there's a seismograph, has had over 100 earthquakes today. Over 100 earthquakes have originated over here in Calipatria today. And yet we only have a good-sized amount of earthquakes down there today at the Salton Butte volcano. Okay? That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Over here, Rotan, Texas. Rotan, Texas with a 3.3 earthquake. A 3.3 earthquake. Southwest, Western Texas, Coyanosa with a 2.4 earthquake. Further west, this is Arizona. Rob, This is Franklin, Arizona with a 3.3 earthquake. A 3.3 earthquake. Guys, guess what? There are fault zones in Arizona. There's also 3 volcanoes there. 3 volcanoes. Over here in the New Madrid area, the New Madrid fault zone, right smack dab in the middle of the New Madrid fault. A 2.0 earthquake at Marston, Missouri. A 2.0 earthquake in Marston, Missouri. Over here in the Pacific here. Okay? Just off the coast of Colombia here and south of Panama. We've had a moderate 4.6 earthquake here. Significant earthquake. Okay? A significant earthquake. The Cocos Plate is alive and well here. The Cocos Plate is alive and well. Let's move over into the islands of the Pacific. This, folks, is over in Tonga. This is a 5.0 earthquake. A large 5.0 earthquake. East-southeast of Fungale, Onga, Tonga. Fungale, Onga, Tonga. Okay? It's out in the open waters of the Pacific Ocean. Approximately 44 miles east-southeast of Fungale, Onga, Tonga. For the most part, I think the waters of the Pacific Ocean absorb the shock waves from this earthquake. 44 miles away from any island. Okay? As you can see, there's really no land mass around this earthquake, really anywhere near it. Okay? That's Tonga. We move over to Fiji. This is they're saying this is northwest of Tonga. It's not. Okay? They say it's 170 miles northwest of Hunga, Tonga. It's not. This is southwest of Tonga. This is in Fiji. This is a 4.5 earthquake in Fiji. This is 195 miles deep. It's not shallow, but it is. A deep earthquake would be 300 plus miles deep. This is only 195 miles deep. Okay? This one down here, over in Tonga region, this is 19.4 miles deep. Okay? But we go south. This is southern Fiji Islands. South of the Fiji Islands. This is a 4.7 moderate earthquake here. This is 330 miles deep. Actually, closer to 331 miles deep. This is a relatively deep earthquake. Okay? A 4.7 earthquake is going to propagate a larger, shallower earthquake. This earthquake is going to propagate at least a 5.7, 5.8 magnitude earthquake, or larger. It's going to propagate a larger, shallow earthquake to the tune of 5.7 to 5.8 within the next 72 hours to 10 days. This earthquake could propagate and go north over here into the Fiji region. It could go northeast over here into Tonga. It could go south down here into New Zealand. We've seen that happen. It could go west over here into Australia, or over into the Loyalty Islands, over here into Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, over here to the west today. This is a 4.5 aftershock. A 4.5 earthquake aftershock, 72 miles deep. This larger earthquake was a 5 5.7 very large earthquake. A 5.7 very large earthquake here. This is off the coast of Kokopo, Papua New Guinea. Earlier this week over here at Kokopo, we had another 5.6 here. It hit on land in the mountainous region here of Papua New Guinea. Today, we have this 5.7 very large earthquake out here in the Pacific Ocean. The ocean waters absorb the shock waves here. This is far enough away from land, it probably didn't even cause anything more than maybe a little bit of ground movement where anybody would have even seen or heard anything. Okay? But this one is a 4.4, 72 miles deep. This is a 4.7, 71 miles deep. Aftershocks of this 5.8. Okay? Just so you know. Okay? Over here in the Philippines. East-southeast of Sarangani, Philippines. This, folks, is a 5.1 large earthquake. Anywhere between 5.0 and 5.9 are considered to be large earthquakes. This is on the lower end of the large earthquake scale. It's still a large earthquake. It's out in the ocean here. It's out here in the ocean. It probably did not affect anybody out here. The ocean waters absorbed the shock wave. This was at least 157 miles away from Sarangani, Philippines. Okay? There's that. Going back down here, just over here in southern Sumatra, Richard Smith told us about this earthquake. This is a 5.0. USGS has it as a 4.9. We can't trust the agency. If it was a 4.9, it might have been a 5.2 or 5.3. The 0.9 society is alive and well. USGS downgrades earthquakes. Yesterday there was an earthquake down here. It came out as a 5.8. They downgraded it to a 5.4. Almost a half magnitude downgrade. A half magnitude downgrade. This earthquake happened out here on this undersea ridge here. This undersea ridge, the Sumatra ridge here. Okay? Happened in the ocean. I don't think anybody felt this quake. The ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. Further north, off the coast of central Sumatra, this is a moderate 4.5 earthquake. This was supposed to be 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Yesterday we reported on a bunch of earthquakes, a bunch of large earthquakes that USGS had set were 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Not every earthquake can be 10 kilometers deep, but USGS made it so. Let me say something about 10 kilometers deep. The USGS itself has said that they will not put the exact depth of an earthquake if they don't know it. They'll just tag it as 6.2 miles deep or 10 kilometers deep. Whether they know the real depth or not, they'll set it as 10 kilometers deep. They're lazy. They know darn well how deep an earthquake is. They have sensors all over this area. GeoNet has sensors all over Indonesia. The Indonesian agency has sensors all over Indonesia. They know how deep these earthquakes are. GeoNet down here in Australia knows how deep earthquakes are. USGS will never report. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, USGS, I lied. I misspoke. USGS does occasionally post earthquakes here in Australia. Yeah, they do. Occasionally. Occasionally. We've had upwards of 4 different earthquakes, minor to small earthquakes in Australia, and USGS doesn't say a word. Not one cotton-picking little word. Heaven forbid we have an earthquake in Australia and it does damage, and the agency decides they're not going to say it. They're not going to call it. Because they can. That's the way this agency does business. Okay? Today, there are no earthquakes in Australia. There are no earthquakes in Australia. Okay? But you see that one there, here in Kokopo, Indonesia? I'm sorry, Kokopo, Papua New Guinea? We know for a fact that there's 3 earthquakes there. We showed them, right? USGS showed them. 3 separate distinct earthquakes. This time, folks, this time, the European agency only shows 1. It's not often that the European agency will only show 1 earthquake when there's numerous earthquakes there. Okay? Going down into New Zealand is a different story. Look at all the earthquakes there. Earthquakes all over Australia. USGS shows us none. None at all. Just north of the very large, it's not just large, guys. Remember we told you about Topo Lake? Right there. Topo Lake being a supervolcano right there. We showed you 2 earthquakes right there yesterday. Just north of Topo today, there's a 2.3 earthquake. A 2.3 earthquake. Topo volcano. A supervolcano. Over in the Catcher's Mitt, north of there, in the Bay of Plenty, we have a 2.46 there. And southeast of there, also in the Catcher's Mitt, we have a 2.6 there. Earthquakes. Earthquakes. I'm going to go over to the southeast side of the North Island there. We've got a 2.3 and a 2.7 near Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay. Inland from there, Hawke's Bay in Gisborne, New Zealand area. Just east of there, west of there, west of there, near Ruakaturi, Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, we have a 2.34. 2.34. Earthquakes there. Again, heaven forbid, USGS says anything. Okay? Right down here, we have 2 earthquakes here. This is a 2.37. A 2.37. Juby Joe just gave us another $100 super chat. Juby Joe, thank you. Juby Joe says, I'm grateful for your show. We all love you. We love you too, Juby Joe. God bless you for that. Thank you ever so much. We really appreciate everyone's support of our program. It means the world to me. It keeps us on the air. You guys are also helping me with my cancer treatment, which I greatly appreciate. I've got a $200 bill coming up the end of this month. I have a $200 shot into my stomach I told you about last night. You guys are helping me with that as well. God bless all of you. You all are truly members of my family. I'm very grateful for all of you. All right. Over here just barely on the south side of the North Island, this is called Raoul Island, we have a 2.2 earthquake out here in the Cook Strait here. The Cook Strait. A 2.2. Still over further southwest of there, also in the Cook Strait, we have a 2.76. And over here on the east side of there, we have a 2.86. A 2.86. A lot of information, huh? A lot of earthquakes. These are minor earthquakes. These are minor earthquakes. Down here on the South Island, we have one earthquake. Let me show you where that earthquake is. It's right here. This is a 3.1 earthquake. Darfield, Canterbury, New Zealand. A 3.1 earthquake near Darbury, Canterbury, New Zealand. Okay? A 3.1 earthquake. Let me show you something. This area is very slightly, I should say very, it's slightly populated. There are farms all over this area. Farms all over this area. Okay? Somebody may have felt that. There was only a 3.1, but a 3.1 is a small earthquake. Spinderella just gave us another $50 super chat. Thank you very much, Spinderella. God bless you for that. You make our day. You make our day. God bless you so much for that. I'm beyond words. Man, you guys are making me cry. Thank you. God bless you all. You guys are special. You guys are so special. Anyway, guys, earthquakes are all over. Again, the agency doesn't tell us much about anything, do they? Over here. This is over here in Zhejiang, China. This is a 4.2 moderate quake. Again, they've pegged it out at 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. This is over in the Himalayas. I'm sorry, guys. They've just taken this map away from us. I'm going to give it back to us. Give me a second. Oh, gee whiz. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. Hey, I brought it back. How about that? I brought it back. I brought it back. Okay. I want to show you the Himalayas, and then we're going to go back to Japan. Look at this, guys. We've got a small swarm of earthquakes over here in the Himalayas. What's happened? Folks, we've had a 5.7 very large earthquake over here in the Himalayas. Okay? This is Nepal. This is Nepal. 5.7 earthquake. They have it as 12.5 miles deep. 12.5 miles deep. 23 kilometers deep. Okay? And aftershocks to boot. There's a 4.5, 6.2 miles deep. This one is a 4.9 large earthquake, 4.9, 5.0, 0.9 society is alive and well. A large 5.0 earthquake here, also in Nepal. An aftershock of the 5.7. And this here, this is a 4.8 also there. 6.2 miles deep. Okay? That's all they're telling us about. Nothing else in Europe, nothing else in the Middle East. They're lying about it. There's a ton of earthquakes there. Let's go over here. Just barely had another earthquake. Earthquakes have been happening in this area for over a week. This is not anything new. Last week we had a 6.1 earthquake. It's been rattling around ever since. This is a 5.5 large earthquake, a mid-range 5 earthquake. That's considered to be a pretty strong earthquake. This one here, that's a 5.8, even larger. Okay, a 5.8 here, 6.2 miles deep. So this new earthquake here, a 5.5, it's an aftershock. It's an aftershock. Every one of these earthquakes here are aftershocks. Here's another 5.2. This is the Izu Islands, IZU Islands, just southeast of Honshu, Japan. Southeast of Honshu, Japan. This has been going on now for over a week. We've had good-sized swarms of earthquakes here. Folks, how many more 6s are we going to get? I don't know. But the 5s are still holding on here tight. The 5.0 earthquakes are holding on here tight. Northeast of there, this is another 4.8 here, also considered to be in the Izu Islands of Japan. I have a feeling we're going to see large earthquakes here, and maybe even a larger earthquake here in the coming days. At any point, any one of these earthquakes has a 25% chance of being a large earthquake. So we could have a large earthquake here at any time. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it heavily. Okay? Going to watch it with a fine-tooth comb here. Hawaii. Over here. Okay? This is just southeast of Luihi. This is Neilahu. This is also an undersea mount here off the southeast coast of the Big Island. Neilahu, a seamount here off the southeast coast of the Big Island of Hawaii. Okay? This is a 2.0 earthquake. Over here on land, this is Pahala. Pahala is a distribution point for magma here in Hawaii, and it distributes the magma to all the volcanoes around the island. Why is it the distribution point? Let me back up for those of you that are new here. Let me give you a little bit of history about magma. Down here in the South Pacific Ocean, we have a deep magma plume coming up from the center of the Earth. That deep magma plume goes up through the crust of the Earth. and supplies all the volcanoes around the Earth with magma. Folks, going over here to Hawaii, the magma plume comes over here to the Big Island. It provides magma over here to the volcanoes. Okay? Nalahu here. There's another volcano over here called Loihi that's just here northwest of Nalahu. Okay? It's an undersea mount volcano just off the coast. But the magma plume here comes over here to Pahala. And Pahala, underneath the town of Pahala here, or this area of Pahala, are magma chambers. And the magma chambers here take that magma plume from deep in the South Pacific. They take that magma plume and spread it out to all the volcanoes. Down here in Pahala today, we have a 2.0 magnitude earthquake. This is another 2.0 magnitude earthquake. And another 2.0 magnitude earthquake. How about that? Let's make it 4. Voila. There's 2.0 magnitude earthquakes. 4 of them, side by side. This one down here is a 1.9 2.0 earthquake. This one further south is a 1.5 tremor here. All of them at Pahala. That tells us that there's still magma coming in from the Pacific down here, supplying magma over here to Kilauea, for example. Kilauea. Or even out here to Leilani Estates or Fern Forest. These areas here that you see these white lava plumes coming up, this is an old photograph of the Big Island. This is after the magma that Kilauea had in it in 2019. The magma at Kilauea and Pu'u'o'o drained out, and it came over here to Fern Forest and Leilani Estates. And that's why you see these lava plumes here. It opened up 24 fissures. It opened up 24 fissures of hot lava pouring out of the fissures. Some of these fissures over here in Pahala, or I'm not saying Pahala, Fern Forest and Leilani Estates are now confirmed volcanoes. They developed craters and they developed cones. They're now named volcanoes here. That eruption here from all those fissures led to lava pouring all over the island, destroying some 1,500 homes and killing quite a few people, and displacing several thousand more. But all these white plumes here are from the fissures that opened up. And it's still hot over there. Underneath the lava field, you can see this gray area. There's a lava field down there. And underneath that lava field, there's still red hot magma down there. Some of these volcanoes, some of these fissures, you can still see red hot lava down into the fissures and the craters and the cones of the volcanoes over here. It's still red hot over there, guys. And some of the ground is still pretty hot. You have to be careful. You have to be very careful to walk around there. That's what's going on the Big Island. The magma coming up from Pahala is also going over here to Mauna Loa. That's going over here to Mauna Kea. That's going over here to Hualalai. Yes, there's a volcano called Hualalai here. And if I pulled up seismos, you would see tremors and earthquakes hitting every one of these volcanoes. Every one of them. Down here to the south of Mauna Loa, this is a 1.7 tremor. A 1.7 tremor. This is south along this ridge here. This is the ridge of the volcano. This is the ridge of the volcano. This earthquake here probably has magma underneath it that caused that earthquake. Okay? Just so you know. Just so you know. Now, while we're here, I want to talk about Maui for a minute. Right before I went on the air, Eric West had gone on the air. He was on the air for about 21 minutes. He'd been talking about Maui. He'd been talking about the money that everyone had sent over there, that he helped disperse money to the different churches, so the churches could disperse the money adequately to the survivors of the fire. People are still sending money to Eric West. And Eric West also pointed people throughout the last 10 weeks or so. He's given out people's PayPal accounts so people could pay those people directly. Donors could pay those people directly. God bless our buddy Eric West. I helped get the word out. At first I was doing it because of the Maui government and for the state of Hawaii. But then as I found out, they did not want certain information out, and I was not going to bow and kiss their feet. I continued helping Eric get the information out, and I will always continue to help him. Like I said, we have over 2,025 children still missing. At least 2,025 children are missing. That's probably, I would think, another 1,000 adults also missing from that fire. Again, you can't trust the agencies. They're not going to tell us the truth. And I called for their resignations. And I'm still calling for it, because they're still lying to the public. There are unscrupulous developers calling some of the survivors of West Maui and Leilani Estates, calling them to offer them cash money for their property so they can develop whatever way helter-skelter that they want. There are still survivors over here that are hurting. There's still survivors here that want to make sure that Lahaina, the capital of Hawaii, the former capital of Hawaii, Lahaina, is rebuilt in a proper manner to honor the memory of those that died and honor the culture and memory of the Hawaiian people that used to live here. But again, developers don't see it that way. They want to do it their own darn way. Unscrupulous developers are over there. Okay? It happens. Unfortunately, it happens. All right. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know I've been quite thorough. I've been bouncing all over the place, giving you current information. Another earthquake just happened over here, just northwest of the main island of Puerto Rico. Vieques. Vieques is an island. It's part of Puerto Rico. It's a tourist trap. The only way you can get to it is by boat. But we have a new earthquake here, a 4.0 moderate earthquake. This is over here on a fault zone, the Cayman Ridge. The Cayman Ridge dropped this earthquake here, a 4.0 moderate earthquake out here in the Pacific. Okay? Just so you know. Also, we've had some new earthquakes here. Again, not surprising. Not surprising at all. folks, this is just northwest of the Salton Sea. This is a very tiny town here. It's called Oasis, California. This is a minor 1.6 tremor. A minor 1.6 tremor. This is also in the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. The Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. And as you can see, there's a lot of tremors here. We may be seeing a larger earthquake in this region very soon, because there's a number of tremors increasing in this area. Anytime we see an earthquake or seismic increase, usually it means a larger earthquake, especially in this area. Okay? Further north on the San Andreas Fault here in California. This is San Lucas, California. Yesterday we had earthquakes here. It's continuing. This is a 1.5 tremor in San Lucas. This is a 1.3 near San Ardo. Okay? Earthquakes continuing in this area. Going north, this is the Pinnacles. This is an oil and gas region here on the San Andreas Fault. It's also a volcanic area as well. The Pinnacles with a 1.6 tremor here. Okay? Just south of San Francisco Bay on the San Andreas Fault. This is Cupertino, California, with a 2.0 earthquake. A 2.0 earthquake here in Cupertino. Do I have any questions about anything at all that we've talked about tonight? I'm happy to take questions for a short while here. If you guys have any questions for me. I appreciate all of you being here. Richard Smith is saying a 4.0 over east of the Strait of Gibraltar. Again, a 4.0 moderate earthquake. Just about 6 months ago, we had a 5.0 there. Actually, a 5.1 in the same area. Now 4.0. We may be seeing a larger earthquake there in the east of the Strait of Gibraltar there. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. Any questions here? I want to make sure we talk to everybody that we can here. We have 121 thumbs up, which I greatly appreciate. If you have not already given us a thumbs up before you leave, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. It's all part of the analytical factor that YouTube uses to assess whether they're going to let anybody else on YouTube see our programs. Number one, the number of people that are watching our program at any given time. That's one of the analytical factors. Number two, the length of time that you're watching this program. Yes, they monitor that. Yesterday we had almost 28 minutes of continuous video watching, which we greatly appreciate. Why? Because if you only are here for a few minutes, you're not going to get the information you need to be able to make decisions in emergencies. And I try to give you that information all the time on every program. This information is essential. It's absolutely necessary so you can make decisions when a major issue happens in your area. That issue could be a tornado. It could be a shooting in your area. It could be an explosion from an oil refiner. We've had many of those this year. We've had hurricanes. We've had earthquakes. We've had fires all over. All over. California, Oregon, Washington, Canada, West and Eastern Canada, Nova Scotia, in fact. We've had smoke blowing down out of Canada into the United States, where it processed itself into smog or VOG and caused people to have health issues all over Canada and the United States. And this ash and smoke also crossed the Atlantic Ocean and went into Europe and affected people in Spain and France. Incredible. Smoke from the fires in Canada affected people in Spain and France. And Spain and France have also had their share of fires. It's had South America and Africa as well. Incredible. Aubrey is asking, what about a 4+ near Naples? Yes, there was a 4+ earthquake near Naples, 4.2 I believe it was, near Naples earlier. Naples, Italy. Okay? We've had swarms of earthquakes in that area. Now we're having 4.2 earthquakes. And I think we're going to have a much larger earthquake there myself. Okay? Any other questions? Spinderella says, hey Ron, you and I and all your regulars all watch paint dry, knowing that something much, much larger is over the horizon. You're right. And your reference to paint drying? Yes, sometimes that's the case. But quite honestly, every time I turn around, there's something else. It's not even paint drying anymore. We're watching incidents and events happen everywhere, affecting thousands and millions of lives. That's why we're here. I've heard from people in Indonesia. I've heard from people in Australia. We have listeners and friends of the program in New Zealand. We have people in South America all over. We have people in Central America, from Costa Rica and Panama all the way north into Mexico. Of course, we have people in Canada. We have people in Scandinavia. On this program here and our previous channel, we've had people in Sweden and Norway and Finland and Denmark, Switzerland and Austria. We had one person from Spain. We've had people from Romania and the Czech Republic. It's incredible where our viewers and listeners come from. It's literally all over. And yes, Richard Smith says, this is unprecedented times. You're absolutely right. This is unprecedented times. And that's why it's important we give out the information that you need to survive what's going on. It's happening, and it's happening every day. That's why we're here. I chose the name Emergency Management Associates for a reason. We're all here to help each other. I started here over 4.5 years ago, April 3rd, 2019. Over 4.5 years ago. The last channel had almost 26,000 viewers, 26,000 subscribers, 1,500 viewers every night plus. We've had times on the previous channel and also this channel this year, 5,000 viewers all at once. That's a lot. I hope to be doing that again very soon, all the time. This is not just for me. This is for all of you. Yes, I give you the information, but we're here to save lives. We're here to make sure people are prepared. We've been talking about emergency preparedness from day one. From anything from writing your emergency plans. And I still know for a fact that there are people watching this channel right now that have not written an emergency plan, and I urge you, if you have not done so, to do it, because the day is coming very soon, or something's going to happen, and you'll wish you had a plan, especially when you're loading your car full of stuff from your home and you have to bug out, and then you get a little bit down the road and you forgot something because it was not written down. I've urged you guys to have a plan. I've urged you to put together an emergency preparedness kit. Just a week and a half ago, I showed you my preparedness kit I put out here on the table and showed you what was in it. That was only a 72-hour kit. I have 3 bins here. I've got 3 plastic bins here full of stuff, full of emergency equipment. I've got 2 more bins out in my storage room. out in my storage room here, as well as a lot of other camping equipment. It's necessary. Folks, if something were to happen together here, I'd be gone. As soon as I threw all that stuff in the car, I would be gone. If I had to bug out, I'd be gone. Because I know exactly where my stuff is. I know exactly what I need. We have a food supply here. Thank heavens for small favors. I've been saving dimes and nickels to put food in my house in case of an emergency. Not just for me, but my four-legged family members here, who I value their lives very dearly. They provide me help, they provide me comfort, and they provide me love, and I do the same for them. Thank heavens for my kids. I love and appreciate them very much. Ronnie Jones says you might want to get hold of Dave Hodges, Common Sense Show. I already know Dave Hodges. Dave Hodges and I are friends. He's been getting a lot of information about Maui, and it's very interesting too. I agree. He has been gathering information just like I have. Dave Hodges is a very dear friend. I value his input. I value his commentary. He is spot on. He is spot on. Richard Smith says, may God's mighty power protect and keep Ron, Mods, and EMA family. Much love from Nova Scotia. Stay safe and stay prepared, everyone. Richard, God bless you for that. And thank you so much. We love and appreciate you and all the other members of our emergency family here. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. I do. You guys mean the world to me. I want to thank all those who have donated their support to us tonight in the Super Chat, and any of those others who may go over to our PayPal locations. Just below this video in our program description, we have two PayPal locations, and we also have a Venmo location. Also, at the top of this program description, we have our email address, and our email address is in the banner on the program in front of you tonight, as well as our post office box. Be advised, I love cards and letters. I love getting support from you in the mail as well. If you put a support check or money in the envelope, make sure you wrap it in the letter that you want to send. I love getting letters. I love getting cards from all of you. I see people put support inside of cards. I see people put support inside the envelopes, but wrapped in a letter. I love hearing from you. That makes my day. It really does. It makes my day. Laura Marie, if you're here tonight, I also brought your card in, but it's sitting on my dining room table. She sent me a card this last week, and I forgot to bring it up here. I'll show it to you tomorrow. It's from Mount Shasta. Texas Lady just gave us another $25 Super Chat. Thank you so much, Texas Lady. God bless you for that. You guys make my day. That means so much to me. Now, folks, I have a devotional for you tonight. I thought about this literally all day. What could I say to help you? What could I help you with? What could I maybe make your day with that would help you get through another day and another night? Folks, Rafael E. Pino said this: if we are steadfast and immovable in doing good, our customs will be in accordance with the principles of the gospel, and they will help us to stay on the covenant path. Scriptures teach us, therefore I would that ye should be steadfast and immovable, always abounding in good works, that Christ, Lord God omnipotent, may seal you his, that you may be brought to heaven, that ye may have everlasting salvation and eternal life, through the wisdom and power and justice and mercy of him who created all things in heaven and in earth, who is God above all. Amen. One other scripture I want to share with you. This comes from the last chapter in Matthew, Matthew 28, verse 19. It says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost." Go ye therefore and baptize all nations. There are still people around this world that have not heard the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's our duty as fellow citizens and saints of God to make sure we give out the message of salvation through Jesus Christ. That's who we are. We are all missionaries sent from God to do God's work here on this earth. May God bless us to do that. May God bless us as the scriptures teaches us, giving us everlasting salvation and eternal life through wisdom and power and justice and mercy of him who created all things in heaven and in earth, who is God above all. Amen. I leave you my testimony, brothers and sisters. I know that God lives. He hears and answers our prayers. I bless you, brothers and sisters, that you may go forth to help protect yourselves and your families. Please take the information that we've given you as real. As real. It's important. We've given you information that can save your life today and in the future. May God bless you and keep you. That's my prayer for you tonight. May God bless you and keep you and prepare you for the day where we all return home to our Heavenly Father and live with Him and our families in His kingdom forever. I leave you my testimony and my love, and I do so humbly, even in the name of our Savior and Lord, even Jesus Christ. Amen. Have a good night, folks. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back with you as soon as the information becomes available. Other than that, maybe tomorrow night we'll be back with you later than normal. Have a good night, guys. May God bless you all. And thank you for everything you do for us and for us all. God be with you until we meet again. Good night, everybody. We'll see you around the corner.